All right, we are live on YouTube. So I'm just waiting for the video to connect on the other monitor so I can grab that link and put it in our free business mastermind group so that our community can join us easily and conveniently on the YouTube live. Okay, here it is. Let me grab this link. Got it. Drop it in the group. Okay, that is dropped. It is posting, cycling through. Boom. Okay, that is posted. Let me make sure I can see the live chat so I can see our people on YouTube talking to us. All right, great. Pull this over. All right, y'all, we can begin. All right. So, welcome to the Her First Six Figures Morning Show. That is an interactive coaching and training experience as part of a free business mastermind group to position Black and Brown female online service based entrepreneurs to generate your first six figures by learning how to make the money and create time freedom. This week's blog is at shaycannon.com/stay. That's STAY. Let me drop that on the YouTube. shaycannon.com/stay. Because what we're talking about this week is high impact retention strategies so that clients stay clients longer. Okay. In a service-based industry, what we know is we can service a client as a one and done and they're gone. We never have a relationship with them again, or we never make money from them again. And that is not necessarily a good thing because as you may have heard, it is easier to make money or to get more business from someone who has been a client of yours than it is from someone that is new who doesn't yet like, know, and trust you. So the best thing is to find ways and use strategies to continue to service the clients that we have because they what already like, know, and trust us. Okay. Now, one of the strategies that we talked about was yesterday. We talked about find a way to continuously fill their need. And we talked specifically around the offer ladder. So if you want to know how to find ways to continue to fill their need through different services and create an offer ladder that actually helps you to do that, you need to go back to yesterday's replay because I even gave you 10 strategies on how to continuously fill their need. Today, what we're going to talk about is educate them. Okay. Educating your clients as you serve them, okay, is one of the most effective ways to build trust, reduce friction, and keep them coming back. One of the things about me is I provide a service, but I don't provide a service and try to talk over your head. I don't try to keep things a secret so that you necessarily have to rely on me so heavily to understand what's going on. One of the things that I do is I try to explain to you what we're doing and why. Okay, because people who understand why things are happening, why you're doing things a certain way, you get less pushback and you get more satisfaction. It just kind of comes with it. So when clients understand not just what you're doing, but why it matters, they become more confident, more engaged, and more invested in the process. This is especially important for us service-based entrepreneurs working with clients who are trying to grow something of their own, right? So empowering them to make better decisions and to see better results, they're going to love that. They're going to remember you for that. That trust and that relationship that you're building is going to be deeper because of that. Okay. So without education, clients can get stuck in confusion. They can start second guessing the process and whether you're doing it right or whether that's the best thing for them. They start assuming things aren't working fast enough. One of the things I do with the phases of service, I let people know about how long each phase takes usually. And then I also explain to them things that can happen that can prolong, or delay that phase. Because there are things that clients do that extends their phase longer than it has to be. But if you have that conversation, if you educate them beforehand, what can happen is they can choose not to demand something that would delay it. They can now choose either I'm cognizant that what I'm choosing is delaying my process, and so I know it's going to take longer, or I would rather not have that thing I'm demanding so that my process will stay the same length of time. Okay. So the more communication and the education in your communication, the better. So, for instance, a client may begin implementing a strategy with you and expect overnight results, not realizing the timelines or milestones that they should be watching out for. So, without guidance, they can quietly disappear. They can think that the offer didn't work. They can think that you're not working. But when you educate them as you go, breaking things down, explaining the strategy, managing expectations, you don't just retain clients, you get advocates who value the relationship beyond a single transaction, okay? So educating your client along the way, it's almost like a cheat code. It really is. Because some of us think that because we're the expert and we're providing the service, that once they pay us, they don't have to hear back from us until we've gotten their result. Well, people get anxious in between there. There should be things that they should know are happening. They should be getting reports and things like that. But that was what's in the blog. On the morning show, I give you more. So I have 10 ways that you can educate your service-based clients, okay? So let me pull up my show notes. Okay, cool. So the first thing that you can do, just like you have an offer map, you can have a service map. For each service that you provide, there can be a map of what those milestones or the phases of going through that particular service looks like. And if you can give them a visual, that's even better, right? Visuals are always great. So don't just break it down in words. Give them a visual so that when they're thinking about where am I in the process of my service, they can think back to some visual and kind of pinpoint where they are. So you can provide a visual or written, I suggest both, outline of what you'll do and why each step matters. You can explain how each piece connects to their goals so that they can mentally kind of track the process. So that's going to be strategy number one. Create a service map with the milestones and the purpose, all right? Number two, you can use Loom or Zoom or any screen share video to break down the deliverables, because all of us should have the general phases that will happen for all services, right? There are always some caveats, of course. You can do that separate, but you can record videos for those standard phases and how they go, and give them access to that. So when you send completed work or strategy steps, you can include a quick video walkthrough of what you did for them, or you can send them a standard version of what happened in that step, so that they kind of know what's going on and they have heard from you, but you didn't have to take time out of your schedule to actually do a meeting, because sending a video is quicker and better than trying to meet up with availability. And what it's gonna do is it's gonna show your thinking, and not just give them your output. And we're doing this at each step, okay? Number three, include a strategy corner or somewhere in your client portal or on your dashboards. You can add a section dedicated to where they can access these little bite-sized videos that we're talking about that can be educational content. This is how, this is what is usually in phase one. This is why we do it, this, that, and the other. So it doesn't have to be the custom like we suggested in number two. It could be the ones that are the standard that I also told you about. And so they can live somewhere and almost be like a training library for your client that's educating them on what each phase is for, why you're doing what you're doing, what they can expect, when they will graduate to the next phase, things like that. And the goal is to anticipate what questions they would have, almost like a FAQ, frequently asked questions, and include that information as content in the videos, okay? Number four, you can host milestone-based calls or meetings. So some of our services are project-based, or they happen over a duration. And so you have these check-in meetings all along the way. And in those meetings, that's when you can kind of describe to them in person what is happening right now, what they can expect to happen next. Do they have any questions? All of that kind of thing. So you can hold these debrief meetings along the way. So schedule strategic check-ins to review the process, explain results or the lack of results. These check-in meetings are also great if you have the type of service where you need things from your client all along the way. See, those check-in meetings, all them emails they've been ignoring and not giving you what you need to proceed, those check-in meetings really help, because when they come face to face, they're trying to see, have they done their quote unquote homework before they meet with you. It's also a way of giving them some accountability. So those check-in meetings and debrief calls are great. Number 5, break down the data. Some of us have data that is related to the service that we provide. And so we can have reports where we're sharing the data that we're using to make the decisions and use the strategies that we have chosen to use for the service. Okay. So we don't just drop numbers. What you do is you tell them what the numbers mean, because just giving them numbers that means nothing to them. Right. And if you, as a client, receive just numbers, you wouldn't know what that was. You would think it was a waste of time rather than something that was added value. So yeah, give them the numbers, but also in the front of the numbers, break down, what the numbers mean, why you chose the decision that you did, or the strategy that you did. So you need to be the translator of the numbers and then have the raw numbers behind that summary. And let me tell you what's probably going to happen. People like me, and look, I'm going to go ahead and out Dr. Toya. And people like Dr. Toya, we like to receive numbers, the raw data or whatever, but we still want you to interpret it in the front. And then if we ever feel like we didn't understand something, we want to go back, we can go back to those raw numbers. But the first thing we want to understand the summary, and then we want to have those raw numbers to go back to if we feel like we need to. We want to have it. So keep that in mind. All right, number 6, add context in email updates. Okay. So if you don't have meetings or you have emails in between meetings, you need to make sure you're adding context to your email updates. And what that can look like is including 1 or 2 sentences that explain why behind each task that's being done. It could be, something that says, quote unquote, we're focusing on this because it supports XYZ outcome. So you're kind of explaining things. You're not just, so we don't want to be like a parent that's like, do what I say, don't worry about why, right? We don't want to do that. We want to explain to them why we're doing things so they understand it better. And guess what? The more they understand, the more they value your service. So it's definitely worth it. Number 7, create a start here or kind of onboarding video for whatever your framework is, right? So that you're explaining what your framework is, you're explaining the phases, and it's going to help them to understand your methodology. So all of us in service-based business, we should have our own framework, our own formula of how we do things. We might have a special name for it. We might use layman's terms when we describe it or whatever. But when you are telling them what your methodology is, and what it's going to do is it's going to reduce unnecessary questions. Okay, go ahead and tell them how I feel like I'm going to get you the result. Just a start here, and it makes it a part of the onboarding, so that when they're getting started, they have more knowledge, they have more understanding. You can kind of help them expect certain things and not expect other things. One thing I love to do is I love to ask clients, what do they expect? Because sometimes it's something other than what you think they are expecting, or it's something more than what you provide. And so if we catch that early, we don't have problems in further down the road. All right, number 8, answer questions publicly. So if you have groups, some of us have group services, not one-on-one service. So you can still hold these group meetings or send group communication. Okay. So if you run some type of group service, then you can share your responses in a way that explains the strategy, not just what you do, but why you're doing it for the group. Right. And you can provide them the opportunity to ask their individual questions. This is why we have, with different group programs, Q&A. That Q&A is important, but you can give the group report before you hold the Q&A portion. That way their questions can be including information from your report. All right. Number 9, provide strategic recaps. When y'all meet, you can send a recap email after, especially if it's a one-on-one high ticket service. I would expect to receive that email if I'm paying you thousands of dollars and we met. Send me a video replay or send me strategic summary of the meeting notes. So follow-up calls or deliverables with written summaries that explain what happened, why it mattered, and what's happening next. And what that does is it keeps clients focused on the big picture. It also gives them something to go back to instead of relying on their memory. Okay. So you can say, not only did we talk about it in the meeting, and not only is it in the replay, it's also in the summary of the email delivering the replay, or that was the after meeting summary. Okay. Last but not least, number 10, use analogies to make complex ideas click for them. A lot of us are in industries that have its own industry jargon, its own kind of terms that we use as practitioners that the layperson and our clients don't understand. So make sure that you're using examples and stories and anecdotes and all of these metaphors or whatever to help the layperson understand. And it's usually that the litmus test is, will a fifth grader understand it? So if a fifth grader doesn't understand what you said, you need to learn how to break it down more. All right. So sometimes a good metaphor is more powerful than a textbook. If they're struggling with why we're focused on something first, then you can kind of compare it to something else that they would be familiar with to help them understand and help it make sense. Right. So we're going to start with Dr. Toya. And our question today, let me drop it in the studio chat. Our question today is, what ideas do you have about educating your clients more? So some of you may be educating, but could you educate them more on your service, and which strategies mentioned today will be most helpful in supporting you to do so? Let me jump over here to the YouTube channel. We're going to drop the question for them over there. So we see you watching, so make sure that you answer us in the comments, because we don't quite know who's watching, but that's okay. All right, so I'm gonna go back through the 10 without all the extra, just as a reminder, and then we'll start with Dr. Toya with the question of the day. Number one, all of this is how we are educating our clients to understand our processes, because it brings value, it curbs expectations, and it just makes the whole experience better for the client. And so guess what? When they think about the person that helped them, not only as a service, but to help them understand their own business better, that means something to them. So these are 10 ways that you can educate your clients to keep them as a client. So when they think about coming to somebody else for what they need, and you are the person that provides that service, they're going to always think of you, because you're the one that took the time out to not just do the service, but to help them to understand the service. Okay. So 10 strategies to educate them. Number one, build a service map with milestones and the purpose of each milestone. Number two, use a Loom, a Zoom, or some kind of screen share video to break down the deliverables. Number three, you can create someplace. Okay, well, number two is custom. The Loom and the breakdowns are custom to what you're doing specifically for them. Number three is like creating a video library that is for things that are standard for each phase. Okay. Number four, you can host your milestone debrief calls all along the way. Number five, break down the data behind the decisions and the strategies, but put a summary in front and put the raw data behind it. Number six, add context in email updates. Don't just say something, tell them why, even in email communication. Number seven, create some kind of start here onboarding video that helps them to understand your methodology and your framework. Number eight, answer questions. When you have group, make sure you have that live Q&A, but as a part of the top part of that Q&A meeting, give them a group update and group, report on what phase they are in the group service, and then allow for live Q&A. Number nine, provide strategic recaps after meetings. So send them some type of recap of the meeting, the main points of the meeting, any to-dos from the meeting, and what the next steps are after the meeting. Number 10, use analogies, stories, anecdotes, all that kind of stuff to make complex things very clear. Your litmus test is make sure that a fifth grader can understand it. All right. Now let's start with Dr. Toya. Dr. Toya, what ideas do you have about educating your clients more on the service that you provide, and which of the strategies mentioned today will be most helpful in supporting you to do so?
Yeah, so I like this idea. What came to mind when you talked about I think it's number 3, the series. I don't know if you said a series, but the series of videos, because my certification process, I get a lot of emails and a lot of unclarity around it. Yeah. And so I think I'm going to create are you interested at video, you've done it video, and then what you can do next video. So it's just automated. It has all of the information. And yes, I think that was great.
I love it. I love it. All right. Thank you for that, Dr. Latoya. Dr. Ariana, what ideas do you have about educating your clients more? Being in physical therapy and in health, I know you already explain a lot, but could you explain and educate your clients more? And which of the strategies mentioned today would be most helpful in supporting you to do so?
Hi, good morning. Yes, I do feel like I probably over deliver in the education portion. I was actually thinking maybe I need to scale back some and not give so much of the kitchen sink. But it would be useful maybe to give some instructional videos, some
Mhm.
demonstrating some how-tos on some of the things that people can do on their own.
Yeah.
I also like number one and number three, I like have a service map to outline phases of the various services that people can benefit from. And also I like having a strategy corner for
Yeah.
just standardized FYIs and information that people can use. So I think adding those two in my menu of services, I think would be useful.
Yeah, I think so too, because you do give a lot of information, Dr. Ayana. It's not that that information is not needed, though, right? But because it's information in a realm that people are not used to, they don't have a reference for, it can be overwhelming. But if you start with having that library and number three, and then when you talk to them, you refer them to the library rather than give them that information, and that leaves you space to give them other information while you're talking to them, I think that will help. So yeah,
Okay,
I love that.
thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Dr. LaFera, what ideas do you have about educating your clients more on your service, and which strategies mentioned today will help you support you in doing so? All right, Dr.
You
LaFera,
call me?
you taking a year to unmic. What's
I
going
did
on?
not.
You
Did you
did.
call me? All right. Um, I like the visual for number one.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the visual for number one. I also like the
Mm-hmm.
video, customized video, telling them about the different steps.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm actually working on like the onboarding type stuff right now. So again, you did a great job of coming up with like, what I'm working on right now.
Cool beans. And you do a lot of group programs too, Dr. LaFera. So number eight is probably great. Like I know you probably already do live Q&As, but you can just start it off with a report on where they should be at that phase before you
Mhm.
hold the Q&A.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Cool beans. Let's go to look, I was about to say Dr. Cheryl. Look, Cheryl, what ideas do you have around educating your clients more on your service? Because I know you're another one like Dr. Ayana. Y'all just speak education. You're always trying to educate as a part of what you do. But did you find ways that you could do it more or in a different way? And what strategies helped you?
I use 9 and 10, provide strategic recaps and emails
Mm-hmm.
because I have them create a notebook system so that they
Okay.
have
Okay.
basically um, their own manual. Just and I got this idea from GoDaddy. Every time they solve a problem for me, they
Mm-hmm.
send me that section of their manual. And over the years, I've got some serious info. And so I use the recaps as well as the analogies. The analogies really, really work because it creates a visual. You see what I'm saying? And as they
Mm-hmm.
can see it, then they can start putting together the systems. And I was working with a client yesterday, and we were at a point where she was like, "Well, I don't know if I want to do that or not." And I said, "Well, what are your goals
Mm-hmm.
for this project? There's always got to be a goal and an end game." And she was like, "Well, I want this, this, and this." I said, "Okay." I said, "Are you willing to try? Because even if you change things, and clients will change things up. Well, I decided to add this part of what, well, then you see whether or not it works, and then you can course correct. Nothing says, the last time I followed the instructions, I made $1,700. This time I made 17. What do you think is going to motivate them?"
Yeah.
So that works well for me. What I am doing, and that is creating customized guides for them so that they
Yes.
can have a digital library, or they can print it out and have um, they can have their own basically information system surrounding what they learned with me. And not only that, that information also can be used to create a book for me to sell. You see what I'm saying? Put it more
Mm-hmm.
generic, but not specific like I give to them. So it's like layering your income with one product.
I love that. That repurposing. Yeah, I love that. Okay, great. Thank you, Cheryl. Sasha P is in the house. Sasha, what ideas do you have about educating your clients more on the service that you provide, and which strategies mentioned today will be most helpful in supporting you to do so?
That I plan on using to educate clients is like, and I did this in my professional job previously,
Mhm.
is trying to use more of a in real life example of like what merchandising is.
Mhm.
So for e-commerce, comparing it to what it's like in real life in a grocery store is the example that we
Yes.
use. Like when you walk in, that's your homepage, your aisles are your categories and like things like that. So that's something that I have. I'm kind of reworking the deck that I did a couple years ago to be
Mhm.
relevant for my business. So that's one that I'm using. And then the strategies mentioned that I think will be useful. Breaking down the deliverables, that's key. That's something I have on my like to-do list for like the
Mhm.
kickoff call and before that, the contract and the kickoff call to revisit that. Break
Yes.
down data behind decisions and strategies. I think that's key. I mean, I do that in my job now, and I always use data to back up my work. And then
Mhm.
providing recaps after meetings. That is, I know, so important because I forget
Mhm.
things, they'll forget things and whatnot. So those are the ones that I highlighted.
Yes, I love that. And I'll tell you, I'm guilty of not always providing a summary or recap after meetings, but the email you will get after a meeting is if I've asked you for something. If I need something
Mhm.
from you, you're gonna get an email after a meeting reminding you what I need from you. And so yes, those things are so helpful. And it helps the service go by so much more smoother. So
Yeah.
thank you for that, Sasha. Dr. Tachi, what ideas do you have about educating your clients more on your service, and which strategies mentioned today will be most helpful in supporting you to do so?
So I'm I'm thinking on the side of, as you know, there's two sets of people I serve. So I'm thinking on the side of creators now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to do more of, I just get so busy, but I need to make a point of doing more of the check-in meetings and debrief calls because as you know, when you all are in front of me, then I can get what I want as opposed to the emails. But I do provide context in email, like because I can't do that all the time or haven't been able to, I do provide I think in-depth context within the emails. Um,
Yeah.
so I definitely more of the check-in meetings. And I would like to do a start here video. I haven't done that yet.
Yeah. I think another thing you can do, Dr. Tachi, is you give us information in emails that are great, but the emails tend to be long. So instead of you having to type all that stuff up, you could just do a video of the information and maybe only do bullet points in the email. That way people they're probably going to be more apt to watch that video than read the whole email, because I'm quite sure you get questions in there and you're like, it's in the dadgum email I sent you, but they didn't read it all, right? So that might be something else that you could do. When you're emailing, give them a link to a video with most of the information. And then at the bottom is just only the bullet points of what you're saying in the video.
Okay, that's a good idea. I always thought though that they the creators would not necessarily watch, but not scrub through would not want to scrub through to find stuff. So if the bullet points make sense then.
Yeah, yeah. I always do both because we always have to think about how people learn or process information. So it's always going to be something visual, auditory, and reading, so that you're hitting all the points for all the types of people that learn the different types of ways. So yeah, cool beans. All right, Kimberly. We know you're probably at the Dream Funder. If you want to drop your stuff in the studio comments, you can. Over here on the YouTube side, Chantilly is with us. Good morning, Chantilly. And she says she wants to definitely use the visuals, the recaps, and the case studies, or the explaining in a way that a fifth grader could understand, and using stories and things like that. So I love that for you, Chantilly. Anybody have any questions? Okay, you unmuted. Hey, Kimberly.
I can talk real quick because
Okay.
not at the funder yet. But so I'm not really clear on how any of these strategies can help me as a product based business.
Mm-hmm.
And so of course I'm driving, so I didn't hear all of them. But
Yeah.
if you could give me a little bit of insight on how one of these strategies can help me with as far as a product-based business.
No problem. So you have foot care products that you are using a formulation that you came up with, right? So you can have a video that explains your formulation and the ingredients and why you use those ingredients and why your product is better than other products, right? You can also have a video that shows them the very simple steps of how to use the product. So, demonstration videos are very much a thing for product-based businesses. So you can have that. You can also explain why the foot balm works in concert with the other two products that you said you're going to keep, and then do videos for that, what's in those products and how to use those products. So those are the kinds of things that you can have available to your clients. You can even do things like how to get summertime ready could be a video that you give them, because what we know is some people had them crusty feet in the summertime when they're wearing socks and boots. And then when the summertime come, they got to do some, work on them things before they let them out. So you can do all those kinds of different types of videos where you're explaining to them, not just you got this product and it works, but why it works and why we're better than everybody else. So that's how it kind of blends in.
Okay.
Because actually all of this comes from the product-based world, because y'all been doing that forever. Demonstration videos were born from you guys. And so us on the service-based side, we're just adapting that to give our own kind of demo type of videos to educate on the process. We just don't have an actual physical product most often to be talking about in our videos. So
okay, got it. Thank you.
No problem. No problem. Safe travels. All right. Any questions, right? So yesterday we talked about feeling the need and a certain way that you need to build your offer ladder. Today we've talked about how to educate your client, and we're doing all of this so that we can keep servicing our clients and keep making money from the same clients that already like, know, and trust us. Tomorrow, what we're going to talk about is how to personalize the experience to keep them coming back as clients and keep them to, sign up and keep paying us. So that's what we'll talk about tomorrow. But any questions or value adds on today about educating them, or yesterday about filling their needs with an offer ladder? Any questions or value adds? All right, cool. So you know that our morning show is a part of our free business mastermind group. So this is kind of like class, right? You're learning every time we have a show. And with class comes notes. And if you want my notes with the 10 strategies for today, there are only two ways that you can get them. Number one, you can be in our free business mastermind group and they will live in the files section. Number two, you can sign up to get the show notes and the entire show in your email inbox by going to shaycannon.com/show. And what you'll get are 2 emails every broadcast day. One in the morning to remind you to hop on the YouTube live. One in the afternoon to send you a link to the replay and a link to the show notes. Okay. So that's shaycannon.com/show. On Thursday, we're going to have Collab Live. I'm going to live stream inside of the Free Business Mastermind group at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. And what you need to do is you need to bring in, what kind of collaboration do you need for your business? For it to grow, for it to make more money, for it to be better? What kind of collaboration do you need? And what are you willing to give as equal value in return to make it a win-win? So we're fostering and facilitating collaborations on Thursday. We do it once every month, okay? Also, Thursday night, if you are in the state of Georgia and you did RSVP already because reservations are closed, we're having dinner in Douglasville. So we're having the Free Business Mastermind Group dinner in Douglasville. So I hope to see you guys there. I got a message from Heather. Heather is coming in from Milwaukee. So it's going to be a good time Thursday night. On Friday, we're going to have a Get Shit Done work session for our paid. It's usually only for our paid membership members, but on Fridays, 2 Fridays out the month, we allow the free group to come in and partake on the last half of the session. So look for details on that. If you want to know more information about me, your host, Shay Cannon, or how to become a part of our highly valuable free business mastermind group, check the description below for the link and more information. All right. Now, this was another great episode. All we have is great episodes. Thank you, Jesus. But We want you to like our episode. So give us a thumbs up, like the episode. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel so that you don't miss anything, because your business will thank you, okay? And understand that this is one video out of a series, so make sure that you check out the other videos. And with that, the studio is closing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.